Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Hi. I see some waves. I'm thrilled some folks are on their video. Welcome, everyone. I'm Wallace Gundy. I'm president of the Hill School Alumni Association, and I'm thrilled to be with all of you here today in your living rooms or your at-home offices, maybe even back in your in-person offices. We have had a handful of sort of upsides to the wild year and a half we've had, and I think one is the fact that we can all be together, even if it's remotely, a little bit easier. So it is the top of the hour. We are going to get started, and we have Shelley Baumgarten here as well to help facilitate this evening. So all right, so great, okay. So thank you so much, Shelley. Feel free to pass on to the agenda at this point. Great. So we have a few incredible things we need to take care of tonight. The first is we have a bit of an overview of some of the highlights of the last year that we're going to share. The second is that we're going to thank some of the outgoing members of the Executive Committee of the Alumni Association for their service, their incredible service over the last several years to the school. This is also the juncture in which we as an alumni association nominate and appoint our new members to the executive committee. So this is a real sort of passing of the torch tonight, which is a really, I think, a special component of the history and tradition that we have here at the Hill. We're going to talk a little bit about ways in which you can become and be and continue to be an active member of the Alumni Association, really what that looks like in 2021 and beyond. And then we're going to encourage you all to save the date for a couple of really exciting upcoming events in the year to come, okay? So we'll get started. Okay. You can, yeah, there we go. Great, thanks, Shelley. So for starters, this is the group that leads us as an alumni association. This is the executive committee of the Alumni Association, representing several different generations and geographies. And what this group does is meets monthly throughout the course of the year to discuss things that we believe alumni want, alumni need, and really to be just a really important sort of pressure test and sort of temperature test of how alumni are feeling and what we can do to serve our alumni. And this has been an incredible group this past year, especially. I think it's no easy feat to sort of be leading and trying to be innovative and imaginative and help engagement during a pandemic. And this group really rallied and continued to enthuse fellow alumni. Now, you might be wondering sort of, this group that leads our alumni association, really, what is the charge? What are the overarching goals? And I think it's really twofold. The two most important things in my mind that the executive committee of the Alumni Association can do is first, improve alumni engagement with the Hill. So when we have an event, having more and more folks attend each year, whether that's at home in Pottstown, whether that's right on campus, or whether that's across the world, or whether that's virtually through something of a speaker series or a virtual event of some nature. And then second of all, improve alumni engagement with one another. So just as important and as impactful as it is to have alumni back on campus at Hill events and things like that, it's perhaps doubly important to see that alums and classmates are spending time with one another far beyond their years at the Hill. I personally really love to see that. So as far as what the makeup of the Hill alumni looks like, it's a pretty incredible group. I welcome you all. Those of you who haven't hopped onto your cameras, you're welcome to do that if you'd like to get a little bit of a snapshot. But there are 10,000 Hill alumni throughout the world. 86% are male and 14 are female. And as the years continue, that scale is going to continue to balance out a little bit. We have 35 legacies represented in the current student body. which I think is a pretty incredible statement about how not only did alumni have great experiences on campus, but so much so that they are hoping that that next generation can attend as well. As far as top employment industries, I find this to be really interesting. We have finance and business, law, tech, education, real estate. These are some of those bigger areas, top employment areas that our alumni are currently involved in. And then where are we? Well, we're all over, as you can see. We have 50 states represented, and then Washington, D.C., Virgin Islands, and Puerto Rico, and then 85 countries. And don't be concerned by the red dots. That was my gut reaction. Elville red, just red to stand out amongst the ocean water. But I think these two pictures are really pretty incredible visuals of just how far we span. I think something that I'm continued to be amazed by is, you could have your group of Hill friends that you were students with, you were a student with, you were on sports teams with, or what have you, but then far beyond far beyond campus, the relationships we build, the ties that we form with Hillies, they start to look pretty different. You might be working in an office with somebody who went to the Hill, or hire someone one day who did, or have a child's friend's parent who attended, or something of that nature. And that's something that I think is really pretty incredible. I think the Hill ties that we all have when we leave campus start to really grow and evolve, and look a little bit different as the years continue. And the fabric that those Hill ties weave definitely only gets bigger. Perfect. All right. So this year, Shelley, we had to thanks for clicking that, Shelley. So this year we really had to sort of reimagine engagement. And I think that there are two things I'd really like to focus on here. The first is really around what engagement looks like. Shelley, you can go on to the next slide. Thanks. So as far as the course of the last year, we were fortunate to add 2 additional affiliate groups to our long list of affiliate groups, as well as 2 additional regional chapters. And so earlier this year, we added the Black Alumni Group to our list of affiliate groups. This is being led by Leah Proctor-Ford from the class of 2014, and by Jason Carmichael in the class of 2010. So we certainly thank them for taking on this incredible leadership role and helping to serve alumni and future alumni. We also added the Hill Squash Association, which is being led by Alf Kennedy, class of 1982, and we certainly thank you for that as well. In addition, our regional chapters are expanding to Austin as well as Tokyo. Sarah Allen in the class of 2012 has agreed to take on the task of hosting events in Austin. So I have no doubt those will be wonderful. And then we are still sort of determining leadership going forward for Tokyo, but do keep an eye out for that. I'm wondering if anyone on the call is from Tokyo, let us know, and we need your help. So this brings us, at the close of this year, we will have 16 regional chapters and 9 affiliate groups. And for an alumni body of 10,000, which I know sounds like a lot of people, to have this many affiliate groups is really pretty incredible. This really shows that there are a lot of different ways in which those alums that we've been talking about are staying engaged and getting involved. This year alone, and this to me is a pretty remarkable data point, this year alone, the Hill hosted 150 virtual events of some nature for alumni across the country and world. And some of these were big events like the one we're on tonight, where several folks are dialed in, and certainly some were much smaller. But what I love about that is that, even amidst a pandemic, we were able to be part of a school and an alumni association that still really rallied together and got a little creative in how they stayed connected. Some of these events included, virtual class gatherings, regional chapter cocktail hours, the Hill Beyond series, the Tom Ruth speaker series, There were diversity, equity, and inclusion forums. We had the Hill Alumni Society hosted various book clubs and chapel talks. So really, that's just a small snippet of the types of events that occurred this year, but we're certainly hopeful that you all were able to be part of some of those, and certainly will continue to be so in the future. So this year, this is really what our programming looked like, and as you can see, I think when we look back on our cell phones and our sort of scrapbooks of this era of our lives, it's pretty neat that we do have some great memories such as these. However, we are hopeful and very confident that a year from now, pictures of Hill events will certainly be in person. We won't necessarily have our names in the bottom of our screens, but certainly we'll be having just as much fun and more fun since we'll be in person. So coupled with the programming that's been taking place this year, something that has been a real focus of mine. I became president of the Alumni Association a year ago, and something that's been a real focus of mine is really wanting to collect the right data from alumni to really inform, what alumni want, what alumni need, and really helping to understand how we can best serve alumni, and then providing that information to the folks on campus at Hill who can leverage that information to then help inform programming and things of that nature. And so we sent out an alumni engagement survey at the end of December. And I want to talk you through a bit high level some of the sort of key data points from this survey. So we had 215 survey respondents, so about 2.1% of alumni responded. So I think it's really important to have that frame of reference when you're seeing the data before you. Our respondents really represented many different decades, so from the 40s all the way up to the 2020s. And that's, I think, a critical piece to keep in mind as well. While the majority of our respondents did attend the Hill during all boys education, 42% of them were at the Hill during co-education, which is obviously representative of our alumni that are graduating today. And then the classes of 65, 77, 2004, and 2009 had the highest number of respondents, totaling 29% of respondents. So if you're in those classes, a special shout out to you. So a bit more into the data. I really wanted to understand what alumni value most as being a member of the Alumni Association. So, in any given year, there are a lot of ways in which alumni can connect with one another, can connect with the school, et cetera. But really drilling down into, what are some of those ways that and components of being a member of the Alumni Association that are most important to our alums. And what you'll see in the faded blue box at the bottom is that staying in touch with Hill friends and attending reunions are the two most valuable antidotes for our alumni. While I'm not necessarily surprised by this, I think it's really helpful to see that, at the end of the day, what alumni want is to stay in touch with their Hill friends, to stay in touch with their Hill connections. Certainly attending reunions is one great way in which to do that. And then just beyond that, attending off-campus events, so regional chapter events, is valuable for alumni as well. I think that as we, over the course of the last several years, have developed more and more regional chapters, and also our alumni population has become more global, I think what you'll start to do is see more and more of those regional events popping up in your area. And if they're not, get in touch with us and we will help make that happen. And then fourth is just, informal Hill connections. And this is a bit of what I was talking about in the beginning in terms of just our connectivity to our Hill ties really just evolving over the years. And I think having those informal connections really becomes pretty special. Some other areas that were mentioned, reading Hill ties, connecting with faculty, learning what's happening on campus at the Hill, visits from the headmaster, class Zooms. I'm not sure if this would have made the list a couple years ago, but class Zooms, and then alumni golf outings. I know in particular regarding the alumni golf outings, it was great to see Jeff Neese out with several of our fellow alumni at golf courses throughout the nation the last couple of weeks. All right, so switching gears a little bit, another, I think, critical data point is around, how you are staying connected and informed about what's happening on campus. So there are several different methods in which the Hill communicates with alumni, and based on what we're seeing here, the Hill magazine, Hill Ties, which we all received a bit earlier this year, as well as the alumni e-newsletter, Whatsoever Things, are the two most appreciated, most leveraged, most utilized ways in which alumni used to communicate with the school. And then beyond that, we have the Hill website, social media pages, etc. The one space on here I do want to call out is the Hill directory. We do have a relatively new app called Graduate, which is our Hill directory. And so certainly over the course of the next year, we'll want to work together to do all that we can to get more and more alumni using the Hill app, the Hill directory app. Okay. And then as far as how connected do you feel to the school? So this is something that this is the space that really the executive committee of the Alumni Association going forward into this year, we particularly would like to focus on. So regarding connectivity of the Hill, the average rating of respondents was a 2.6 on a 5-point scale. And I think that there's some really important kind of components of that data point that I'd like to highlight. I think first of all, you've got to take the virtual piece of things into account. We have had a year and a half of just being really cooped up, and now we're now entering a phase of being able to go and do those things that we used to be able to do, go out and see friends, revisit, visit campus, things of that nature. And for a long time, that just wasn't possible. So I think that that's a really critical piece here. When it comes to competition for time, we want to be a top player in that priority list. Of course, everyone has their families, has their jobs, and we want to be that third thing. We want the Hill, your Hill family, your Hill ties, your Hill connections to be that third thing. So certainly what we see is a great opportunity is that as we pivot into this post-COVID world, this is really an opportunity to truly re-engage with classmates, re-engage with friends, and re-engage on campus. What I would say is that now is the best time possible for you to consider, when it will be, when that next event that you attend with Hill Friends will be, or what have you. There's a lot to catch up on. I think there's a lot of for us to share with one another, and so definitely be considering that as we head into the later summer and the rest of the year. And we'll talk a little bit about a few important dates we want to make sure that you save for later this year and in the beginning of 2022. Okay, and switching, so excuse me, so at this point, those were really kind of the higher level pieces of the survey that I wanted to share with everyone. As I said before, moving the dial from where we stand currently with how connected alums feel to the school, moving that dial as we head into this next year will be a real focus for the executive committee of the Alumni Association, and we look forward to working on that and improving that and helping alumni feel more connected as we head into this new year. So we are going to switch gears a bit in our agenda. It's now time for us to thank our outgoing members of the Alumni Association Executive Committee. We have a pretty incredible group of alumni that have been serving on the executive committee for quite a few years, but I'd like to take a bit of a step back from that even. The 6 folks that you see before you: Michael Tennant from the class of 2000, Mike O'Brien from the class of 99, Paul Lee from the class of 91, and a parent in the class of from the class of 24, Christine Wien Ding from the class of 06, Kent Davis from the class of 79, and a parent from 14 and 16, and Rob Wally, class of 88. These 6 alumni represent a combined 167 years of alumni engagement with the Hill, which is a pretty incredible figure in my opinion. This group epitomizes not only love and care for our great school, but also a commitment to making it better for generations of alumni to come. And yet, you know, they're not just alumni. This group of 6 also represents Hill parents, Hill alumni, Hill athletes and artists, class secretaries, and regional chapter leaders. And their Hill ties are very tight. And so, you know, tonight, we'd like to thank them for their many years of service as members of the Alumni Association Executive Committee, and their example of what it means to serve classmates and friends and fellow alumni. And we look forward to Michael, Paul, Christy, Ken, and Rob remaining engaged with the Hill and continuing to serve as great examples of alumni for years to come. And so we do have a gift for each of you. Shelley, I don't know how do you want to escalate yourself on the screen so you can?
Sure, absolutely. So what I'll do is I'll just stop sharing just for a moment and go back to that. But what we have for them is an engraved box with the Hill seal on it. And inside the engraved box are 2 glasses. And at the bottom, the glass holder at the bottom is a silver ram. And so we'll be mailing those off to them. We wish we could present them to you all in person. And I personally want to thank you all for your service, as I've worked very closely with all of you. And I just thank you so much for what you've given to the Hill and how much you have helped me along the way. And so thank you so much.
So can we unmute and clap for everyone? All right, thank you. Okay, so we are now going to do another pivot. So now that we have thanked our outgoing members of the executive committee, we are now going to nominate our newest members to the Alumni Association Executive Committee. And so, okay, making my notes here. Okay. All right. So today I nominate 6 alumni to be appointed to serve on the Hill School Alumni Association Executive Committee. And first, I'd like to tell you a bit about each one of them. Bill Barnshaw from the class of 95 lives in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, and currently serves as COO at Agent 06. He is a member of the advisory board for the Salvation Army and is passionate about technology, woodworking, golf, and spending time with his wife and twin daughters. He serves as a class secretary and is an active member of the Board of Visitors. Rick Bragdon, class of 70, lives on the Monterey Peninsula of California and is the founder of Idiom Brand, which specializes in the creation of names for companies, products, and services. He's presently building Kindness Partners, which is his, quote, labor of love. He enjoys running, cycling, golfing, and studying piano, and he's currently leading his reunion committee. Stephen Engblom, 85, lives in San Francisco, California, and is an executive vice president with AECOM, the world's premier provider of integrated urban planning and infrastructure. He's an avid cyclist and supporter of the AIDS life cycle. Stephen has been an advocate for LGBTQ+ inclusivity at Hill by supporting ASOGI, which is the Hill Alliance for Sexual Orientation and Gender Identity, for the past 5 years, and including a joint program with Hill Athletics, a first of its kind program at the high school level nationally that became a model program for the Maple League. Betsy Kilkenny from the class of 99 lives in Jenkintown, PA, and has built a rewarding career in the nonprofit sector. She enjoys exploring different cultures, cooking, and running, and combining all 3 whenever she possibly can. Betsy attributes many of her career and personal achievements to the lessons she learned as one of the very first Hill Girl graduates in the class of '99. Krista Tejan from the class of '08 lives in New York City and currently works for Adidas, leading content strategy and digital publishing for the brand's key city teams in New York and LA. She's passionate about the mentorship of young women and girls, and is one of the founders of the Hills GRIP mentorship program, which stands for Girls Reaching and Igniting Potential. Robert Wesley from the class of '67 lives in Las Vegas, Nevada, and is a '71 graduate of Yale and '75 graduate of Yale Medical School. Following completion of a cardiology fellowship at the University of Virginia, he's practiced academic medicine at the University of California at Irvine, and later as an adjunct faculty member at the Universities of Nevada, Reno, and Las Vegas, in private practice and academic partnership with the Nevada Heart and Vascular Center of Las Vegas. Wes has been an active leader in the formation of the Hill Black Alumni Group and our DE&I focus groups last summer, and recently endowed a prize for a rising sixth former who exemplifies democratic ideals and character to be presented for the first time this fall. I nominate Bill Barnshaw, class of '95, Rick Bragdon, class of '70, Stephen Engblom, class of '85, Betsy Kilkenny, class of '99, Krista Tejan, class of '08, and Wes Wesley, class of '67. Liza, could I have a second? Liza Perry. All right, hang on 1 second. Liza, I think you're on mute. I know I see you on here. All right. Oh, Liza in the chat says I second. All right, excellent. Okay, perfect, thank you. In accordance with the bylaws, the names of these individuals have been posted on the website for over 45 days and are bringing them before those in attendance this evening for an affirmative vote. So now, all in favor, please unmute yourselves and say aye.
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 Excellent.
Aye.
Any opposed, please unmute and say nay. Excellent. Please join me in welcoming the newest members of the Alumni Association Executive Committee. All right. So now, as we head into this new year, I think it's really important to consider ways in which you can be an active member of the Alumni Association. Oftentimes, I've asked, how can I help? What are ways in which to help? What are ways in which, I can give back, I can support, I can be involved in the Hill? And I think that those are all really important questions, especially now as as we all, get older and our time on actual campus becomes more and more in the distant past. What are ways in which we can stay involved and stay true to those Hill ties? I think first and foremost is staying in touch with classmates. Attending events, hosting events, those are wonderful as well, certainly. And if you are in a city in which you have a regional chapter and you'd be willing to host an event, we are always eager and wanting volunteers to be willing to do so. Registering in the Hill directory. I know I mentioned this to you a little bit ago. Graduate is our Hill app and it's our Hill directory. And so downloading the app, registering, getting engaged there. I think the most beneficial feature for me of the Hill directory on Graduate is that you have the ability to access addresses of your classmates. And so I used to ping Shelly and say, I need you to send me this address. And now I can get it right there in the Hill directory, which is a huge help. Becoming a mentor. Through the Graduate app, you have the ability to sign up to be a mentor for other either Hill students or other alumni, and so I would really encourage you to do that. There are obviously many reasons, academic, professional, et cetera, career focused, that someone might want to mentor, and so you can designate ways in which you'd be willing to help younger generations of Hillies. Refer great families for admission. I mean, we all know families who have children who might be of Hill School age and who might be curious. And so definitely, use your expertise as Hill alumni and talk to families about the Hill for their children, but then also always reach out to the admission office directly and offer those names as well. Join your reunion committee. Certainly on this call, we have great examples of alums who've really done wonders for their reunion committees and really gotten that energy back. From the survey results I showed you a bit ago, we certainly know that the vast majority of the respondents really value those reunions. And so if you're willing, join your reunion committee, help ensure that classmates are going to be back to campus. Make a gift to the Hill Fund. The close of the fiscal year is tomorrow, and every gift that is made to the Hill Fund goes directly to support the experience of students on campus now. You can certainly designate where you'd like your gift to go, but the Hill Fund is incredibly critical to ensure future success for our students. So if you haven't made your Hill Fund gift yet, you still can. You can do that on the Hill website. Either tonight or tomorrow, and then the new fiscal year does start July 1. And then I think probably the most important thing on this list is ask your friends to join you in all of this. So if you're attending an event, if you're heading back to campus, or if you're downloading the Hill app or whatever it might be, bring your Hill friends along. I think that we all have different sort of Hill circles, and when there's a bit of a kind of a halo effect that can happen. So if you bring your Hill friends along and get them involved in these things, they'll do the same for their groups, etc. And then we'll have an even more lively and engaged alumni association. So at this point, what I'm going to do is encourage you all to get out your calendars and save the date for 2 incredibly important weekends that are coming up in the next 12 months. The first is Centennial Weekend. This is also known as Lawrenceville Weekend. It has a slightly different meaning this year, being called Centennial Weekend because we're hoping to integrate the 100th anniversary of the Meggs family transferring ownership of the school in 1920 to a board of trustees, which was elected by the then newly formed Alumni Association. The anniversary of this happened in 2020, but this was obviously postponed due to COVID. And so the weekend that Shelley and her team are planning back on campus is really going to be pretty incredible to celebrate certainly the 100th anniversary, but also the Lawrenceville Weekend Games, which will be on campus this year. And it'll be just a wonderful, perfect way in which to get back to campus, see some friends, grow those Hill ties. And so make sure you save the date. That's November 5th to 7th, so this fall. And then second, I know this is a little bit farther out, but it's important to get these dates on your calendar early, is Reunion Weekend. This will be June 10th to the 12th, 2022 on campus. I know we will have a lot of reunions to celebrate at that juncture, and I have no doubt that coming off of a couple years of virtual reunions, this will be a pretty, an especially incredible reunion weekend. So there will be no excuses for not attending. You've got both of those dates now, and I'm going to hold you all to that. So at this point, I know we've had a lot of passing of the torch, as I said tonight. At this point, I'd like to share with you our executive committee for the 2021-2022 year that will officially start on July 1. And at this point, I'd like to thank you all for coming. And I would really encourage you all to reach out to me or Shelley, of course, if you have any questions or if you would like to learn any additional ways you'd like to get involved or anything of that nature. I'm always very accessible and I love hearing from Hill alumni. So thank you very much.